Hello, Floss Tube. Different setup today, so have to get used to things. My name is Lynette at Homesteading on the Homefront. Welcome to Armstrong Acres. I came up to finish planting my 500 daffodils and figured while I was here in a quiet house with no husband working from home, I would make the promised video about our upcoming retreat to East Hill Farm. So, for those of you, this is basically for those of you who are going. If you are not going to East Hill Farm, but you might be interested in next year or, the future retreats, then by all means, please feel free to tune in. If you've never gone to a retreat before and you want to know more about what it's like, then hopefully this will be pretty informative for you. So whether or not you're going to East Hill, hopefully you will find something informative for you. So first of all, the inn is in Troy, New Hampshire. It is in southern New Hampshire. It is in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so you're going to get off the highway and you're going to be on back roads for a long time. If you are arriving Friday, there are two scenarios. If you arrive before lunch is served, then you will get lunch on Friday, dinner on Friday, all 3 meals on Saturday, and breakfast on Sunday before you depart. If you can't make it in time for lunch on Friday and you arrive in time for dinner, then you will get dinner Friday night, all 3 meals on Saturday, and breakfast and lunch on Sunday. So you probably won't want to leave until after lunch is served. I have no idea what the majority of people are doing. I plan to get there in time for lunch on Friday. Okay, as far as New Hampshire travel goes, there's no testing or anything required to go in and out of the state. The inn does ask you to self-certify. They will ask you some questions when you check in. Have you had a fever? Are you sick? Yada, yada. They do require masks to be worn while inside, so make sure you pack your masks for wearing inside. There will be stitching areas all over the farm. For those of you who have never been there, there's a main inn which has several common areas. It has the dining area, and it does have several guest rooms. But there are also spread throughout the property different cabins and buildings where other people will be staying. So we are not all going to be in one, big hotel room-ish area. We'll be spread out throughout the property. The dining area they need that to set up for meals. So we are not going to be able to use the dining area for stitching. So there's not going to be one common big area where all 80 of us can stitch. So we will be spread out. And during this era of COVID, I think that's an okay thing. There is a room off of the dining area that I've been told we can stitch in. There are several group rooms in the Trails End building for those of you who want to stitch in larger groups. And then spread throughout, there are lots of intimate seating areas. I know of at least 3 in the main inn itself. And then the cabins and buildings have common areas as well. Some of them have outdoor areas. I know that one of the cabins I stayed in had a beautiful screened-in porch. I know that Trails End has some chairs on a deck overlooking Mount Monadnock, so it's beautiful. I personally, if the weather allows it, I'm hoping to get some outdoor stitching in just because I find it very difficult to stitch with a mask and my glasses. So it's really going to be whatever your comfort level is, wherever you want to be. I also want to get to know people. So when I am stitching inside, I may do what I did at StitchCon, which was stitch a thread and then move somewhere else to meet other people. So I may end up doing some of that as well. And also I may end up taking some time and just stitching alone in my room in peace and quiet. So this is a very informal retreat. Whatever you want, you do, okay? We will have a smalls exchange. It's going to be Saturday after breakfast. I don't know the exact location yet. I suspect it will either be in the room off of the dining area or it will be in one of the Trails End rooms. I will announce that on the Facebook page when I know exactly what the setup is going to be. For those of you who have never done a smalls exchange before, this is optional. You do not have to participate, so I don't want anyone stressing about it. But usually a smalls exchange means you're going to stitch and completely finish a small project, usually less than 6 or 8 inches. And then what we've been doing is we've been matching the wrapping to the project. So if I did a winter project, I might use snowflake wrapping paper. If I did a Halloween project, I would use Halloween wrapping paper. That way, you know, people who don't celebrate Christmas can stay away from the red and green wrapping, and people who don't like Halloween can stay away from the Halloween wrapping, and people who love patriotic stuff can gravitate towards the red, white, and blue. Okay, so we try to let our wrapping be a hint of what's inside. So you're going to take your smalls, your finished project, and wrap it anyhow you want, okay? Many people will include extra little treats, whether it's, you know, some snacks or a pair of embroidery scissors or some fancy floss. But again, it's all completely optional. And so what happens is all of these wrapped smalls are going to be on a table, and everyone's going to grab a number out of a bag or whatever it is I think to bring, and person number 1 gets to go up and choose, person number 2 gets to go up and choose, right on down the line. In the interest of time, there's no stealing. You get what you get and it's yours. Nobody's going to take it away from you. But again, completely optional. It's a lot of fun, but you do not have to participate. In fact, I suspect that a fair number of people at the retreat might not even know that the smalls exchange is going on because they're not members of our Facebook page if they heard about the retreat from the inn itself, okay? So don't be surprised if you attend the retreat if people don't know about it because there was no way to know who they were and to invite them to our Facebook page. Okay, so what next? What to bring, okay? This is pretty much standard for every retreat, so if you've been to a retreat, you know the drill, but if you haven't, this is what I would recommend. Especially for East Hill, I would recommend bringing a battery-powered light if you need extra lighting. A lot of the areas are in the old inn, right? There's not a lot of outlets. So if you have an electric light and that's it, then certainly bring it, but you may have to fight for chairs near the outlets, okay? Maybe bring an extension cord. But I would recommend a light. These buildings are not new. They're not bright at night. Okay, so if you find that you need light for stitching, then bring your own light. If you use a table stand, then you're going to want to bring like a TV table with you because these common areas are, you know, like a living room rather than round tables. Okay, so we're not going to be at the large tables, you know, 8 people to a table, and you can stick your stand on the table to stitch. So if you need a table, bring the table. Bring all of the projects that you want to work on and make sure that you have thread. I will talk about Randy and the World in Stitches in a few minutes, but Randy is not bringing thread with her. So bring what you need. We will have a freebie table, so go through your charts, clear out what you'll never stitch again, bring it with you. We basically have a big table. Again, I don't know where it's going to be, but we'll put all of the charts there. You basically throw them down and people go through them and just take what they want. I think last time we sent Pam and Steph home with the extras left over to give away at StitchCon. So it's a great way to clear out what you know you won't stitch, but yet know that somebody else might get some use out of it. So bring stuff for the freebie table if you want. Bring your smalls exchange item if you're going to be participating. I highly recommend dressing in layers. First of all, you never know what the weather's going to be in southern New Hampshire in early November. During COVID, the windows may be open for ventilation. So definitely bring sweaters or light jackets and plan to dress in layers so that you can be comfortable. If you are a person who likes to get outdoors and wants to go for a walk, then bring hiking shoes, bring jacket. I would recommend a light colored jacket because it might be hunting season. But there are lots of trails on the property that you can, get out and see the great outdoors. I recommend for everyone, whether you're hunting or not, bring good walking shoes because it is a farm, and especially walking from your building to the main building, you will be walking from place to place, and you will want good shoes. Leave your perfume and scented lotions at home. Because when we're, all together, whether it's in the dining hall eating or stitching, you never know who is allergic to scents or sensitive to scents. So leave those at home. Bring extra needles, bring extra scissors, bring extra cheaters if you need them. Anything that you will need to be stitching in comfort. All right, as far as the meals go at East Hill, you will be served breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These are amazing homemade meals. You will not believe the food. For lunch and dinner, you start with a soup and a fritter, and then you get the main meal, and then there's always a dessert. And you are allowed to choose. They have vegetarian options, etc., etc. So usually how it works is when you check in, they will ask what you want to eat for the next meal, whether that's dinner or lunch. And then from there on out, at every meal, they will take your order for the following meal. So at breakfast, they will give you the choices for lunch and ask you what you want. And then at lunch, they will take your order for dinner and ask you what you want. The meals are at set times, so I think it's usually like an hour that they serve the meals, so there's not a lot of play there. You will not go hungry. I know at many retreats I go to, especially if meals aren't served, people will bring snacks. You're not going to need them at East Hill. You are going to be so full. So the meals are delicious. You won't need snacks. Bring your own drinks if you want them. They have coffee and tea and cocoa and I think juices available throughout the day. There's usually cookies and muffins available too. You are not going to go hungry. Okay, I mentioned the World in Stitches. Randy from the World in Stitches will be there. That's our LNS. She's located in, I think it's Littleton, Massachusetts, and she's going to come be our vendor. It's too late to send her any pre-orders. The deadline for that has already passed, but she will be bringing linen. She will be bringing charts. Like I said, she's not bringing threads, okay? You will have the opportunity to pre-order, or not to pre-order, but to order any fabric that she doesn't have with her. I know that she does a lot with Seraphim fabrics, and so if you see a Seraphim there, she may have samples that you like. and want to order for delivery after the retreat, that's going to be possible. She's also going to have our retreat exclusive fabric. Okay, so in May, a couple of us gathered at East Hill and got together to stitch. And I'll just tell the story from start to finish. So Ellen Rainey, for those of you who know Ellen, she, and I wish I could remember what it was, but I can't. She had some funny, sarcastic comment about the farm. She's not a farm girl. And so I remember clearly leaving breakfast to go back to the area where we were stitching. Everyone else was still in the dining hall. And I heard the donkey braying, and I just burst out laughing right out loud. I was the only person there. I burst out right out loud. And my thought was, what is Ellen going to have to say when she hears these donkeys braying? Okay, so fast forward. We were talking about how great it would be if maybe we could get Seraphim to dye a fabric for us for this fall retreat. And we were trying to think of what to call it. And, you know, we thought maybe granite, right? Because New Hampshire is the granite state. And it would be a gray. And Amy Jones chimes in with, no, how about we have her call it braying donkey? Because I had told them the Ellen story. And so that was it. We knew that our fabric needed to be called braying donkey. So I've been told that Seraphim has done a great job with our exclusive fabric. It's going to be like a blued gray, so I hear. Have not seen it yet. I have a full yard on pre-order. But you will be able to, Randy will have some there, and then if you want to order more, you are going to be able to do that. So Braying Donkey from Seraphim is going to be the retreat exclusive, but you will be able to get other Seraphim fabrics as well. The other thing you need to know about the inn, like I mentioned, it's in the middle of nowhere. So cell phone reception can be iffy depending on your carrier. So you may have to, you know, walk to the top of the hill, or I think Kristen said on the tennis courts she was able to get reception. So just be prepared for that. You're probably not going to, you know, be able to get reception wherever you go. I always just like to let people know that so that they are prepared. So that's all I wrote down on my cheat sheet as far as what you need to know about this retreat. If you are interested in maybe next year, then ask to join our Facebook page, which is Stitch-INN, so Stitch In at the Farm. And that's where we'll be posting information for next year. Just so that you know, I am not really in charge of this retreat. I just said to the inn, hey, you have square dancing retreats, you have knitting retreats, could you maybe host a cross-stitch retreat? And they said yes, and the rest is history. So I have done zero organizing for this event. It's all East Hill. They've taken care of all the arrangements. Anyone going to the retreat has dealt directly with them as far as payment, etc., etc. So just wanted you to know that. And if you have any questions, post them below. Ask them on the Facebook page. But I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone, and I can't believe it's finally here. Last count, we were at about 80 people. I know some people had to cancel. So there may be rooms available last minute if you would like to come. It's, I don't even remember the date, November 9th. No, I lied. It's November 5th, Friday, November 5th through that Sunday. And that's all I have for you. So hopefully after the retreat, I will be back with a normal floss tube showing some stitching. Oh, speaking of which, one more thing I wanted to tell you. If you've never been to a retreat before, I highly recommend that you leave the intense counting projects at home. because I, for one, find it very, very difficult to talk and socialize while counting. So what other people recommend, what I always try to do is bring a project or many projects that all I have to do is fill in. Okay, and so this project was one that's been on my to-do list for a while. And the other day I said, okay, I'm going to get started on Hickety Pickety. And the reason for that is I could outline all of this area and then just fill in. And there's lots of fill in here, not only on the rooster, but the cart and the pumpkins and the dress. And so I'll show you what I did. I outlined everything. It took me just a couple of nights to do this. And now all I have to do is take these threads and finish filling in, which is very easy to do while talking. So if you don't have any projects that are outlined and ready to go, take a couple nights, outline what you can so that you can just fill in at the retreat. I'll also be working on the house from Winter Rose Manor, which is endless. So I have stitched the outside and the windows, and so all I'll have to do is fill in the house. So that's another great retreat tip. All right, I think that's it. I'm gonna go plant the rest of my 500 daffodils while I can. Enjoy the sunny day, and I hope to see you at the farm. Bye, class 2.